Very good morning to you once again. This is Stephen Mbide coming to you live from Bugolobi along the Spring Road next to the Port Bay Road. And of course, this is the traffic and travel update. And this side for you driving from the city side using the old Port Bay Road joining Bugolobi, you will be driving with less stopovers and as you drive towards Bugolobi Market, and that is where you'll be finding the very busy traffic flow joining this Spring Road and connecting towards Bugolobi, the areas heading towards Mutungo, Luzira, Bina side, where it's really terrific traffic flow of vehicles coming from this direction heading towards the Mutungo, Bina and areas beyond. But for you who is coming from the city side, I can only advise you that for now you can drive through Jinja Road, because coming from around the Airtel or Wampel Avenue, it was clear flow of traffic by the time we left that side, connecting towards the Nakawa Market or the Nakawa traffic lights, where you could lose less than 10 minutes of your drive time. But if you try to use this direction, you'll be spending lots of time on your road. If you're coming from the Nakawa traffic lights using the Port Bay Road coming towards this junction, still you'll be losing less time, as well as those connecting to the Spear Junction as you connect towards the stretcher towards Ntinda or connecting to Chambogo and areas beyond. If you know you're heading towards the areas of Weyogerere and Nambola and areas beyond, and you're coming from the industrial area, still you have to know that before you cross the junction leading towards Mutungo, you also be held in a lot of traffic jam. But the good thing for you coming from Luzira and areas beyond, as you connect towards the city, I think you can see the flow of traffic is less inconveniencing for you. You can freely drive without any obstacles, at least going towards Bugolobi and as you connect towards the junction of Wampel Avenue. And from this other side, I can confirm to you that it's those coming out of the town, joining this side, that are facing a lot of challenges, but you going towards the city, at least for now, less of congestion. As I wind up this, I have also to remind the police officers or other relevant authorities like KCCA, other local government and central government officials that yes, as you try to ensure safety or road safety, I have to commend you for putting up road signs and other anything else that you put up to make sure that there is safety on the roads. But one thing that you have to also remind and put into consideration is that you have to mark some areas that you designate for parking and no parking, because some people you arrest them for driving and parking in areas that are not designated for parking, and this is just because they didn't know. But if you mark these roads for parking and no parking, maybe they would know. And those, for example, these pedestrians who cross, if you mark, like for example, zebra crossings, maybe that will also help them to know, or the drivers to know that at least at this juncture, at this point, I have to brake for people to cross. Otherwise, you'll be continuing to arrest them without knowing that they are doing something wrong. That's it for now. This is Stephen Mbide coming to you from Bugolobi. Until the next hour. Bye-bye. Back to you on the morning at NTV.
Watching Morning at NTV.
Oh, what a feeling, my whole world is changing. Woke up, I was feeling down, but now I'm not complaining. Thanks to my 3 lucky numbers, you too can win if you enter Super 3 and feel super like me. I'm feeling super, Zen is super. I'm feeling super, Zen is super.
Show, hottest entertainment news at home to great hits. For me, water. Catch up with your favorite celebrity, exclusive interviews, behind the scenes and performances. It's fresh, funky and fan. It's NTV The Beat. Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. with Daggin Eyes, Tracy, DJ Brand, Dash, Baby Love and Sheila. When you think show business, think The Beat.
Hello there, welcome back to Morning at NTV. My name is Mala Kivila Odera. On the Kickstarter segment this morning, we'll be talking about what you've been talking about the most. And so the hashtag is Morning at NTV across all the social media platforms. Now, Uganda needs President Museveni now more than ever before for his first guidance, actually, and mentorship of part of the membership, Rita.
Yes. Now, when we talk about the mentorship of the membership of the party, now this is according to Miss Helen Grace Samo, who was and is representing the people with disabilities in Eastern Region. Now, NRM MPs meeting in Chankwanzi yesterday did agree with her that the ruling NRM Parliamentary Caucus would endorse a resolution from its top organ to have President Museveni as their candidate in the 2021 elections and beyond. And that, I believe, there's a conversation on social media, and it's still a conversation, and we're asking you on our social media account, which is NTV Uganda on Twitter, what you make of that. Now, away from that, this morning we ask you, do you or do you not agree? What does this mean to the country's electoral democracy? And we're having this conversation not alone, not only with Mala, but we are joined by a constitutional lawyer. She is Miss Sarah Birete. You're most welcome to Morning at NTV.
Thank you, and good morning.
And we're also joined by Honorable Michael Sebalu. He is from Iala, and I would say that you are an NRM diehard. Correct me if I am wrong.
I'm NRM.
Yes, NRM.
You can tell by the tie.
Yes.
Welcome so much to the show.
It's a pleasure having me.
Yes. Let's talk about this particular development. Now, NRM shutting the door on the other rivals and saying that we are confirming what was addressed or what was agreed upon in Chobe. We are supporting the candidature of His Excellency the President. I'll start with you, Miss Sarah.
Yes.
Did you see this coming?
Yes. To me, really, the resolution is not surprising. We saw this in the last elections when the NRM Caucus moved to block then the Prime Minister and their Secretary General, Amama Mbabazi, but also getting to the genesis of internal democracy within NRM. In the early years, NRM would be concerned about President Museveni running alone. In the early years, they would make Better Catch. Better Catch ran with President Museveni within their primaries, just to show that there is internal democracy. And it was a big deal to them then. But with time, these democratic credentials phased off, and it's expected. Then after Better Catch, we saw Okotogong trying to run with President Museveni in the internal democracies twice. He was never allowed. Then Amama Mbabazi came in. There it became open that this seat is ring-fenced. And given the goings through the lifting of age limit, I think if any Ugandan did not expect this, then I don't know in which world they are living in. But to me, the concern is one, by if you looked at, even if a stage-managed process, if it tried to show that there is democracy, it would be bottom-up.
Right.
But this is top-bottom. So if you have SEC, and it has already resolved in a unanimous manner that this is a sole candidate, can the caucus do anything? So I think SEC put the cart before the horse.
Right.
But to me, what is bothering me is that this matter is before court, and the NRM organs are trying to intimidate court to say, look, regardless of what you want to think, this is our decision.
Right.
There is intimidation of court here.
Speaking of intimidation, we do have bites, and we'd like to take a look at this before we get in and we get the views of Ms. Honorable Mike. Let's take a look.
The NRM Parliamentary Caucus, currently convened in Chankwanzi, has unanimously supported the resolution by the party's Central Executive Committee to have President Museveni as their sole candidate in 2021 elections, as well as have him continue as party chairperson. The resolution was read out by Party Secretary General Justin Kasule Lumumba. Thereafter, the representative of the PWDs in Eastern Region, Helen Asamo, moved the motion supporting the resolution, which didn't meet any resistance.
First of all, we as NRM, we find Museveni as the person who can move this country to the next level in terms of economic empowerment, in terms of peace, in terms of prosperity. And as a party, he is our candidate. So we are giving him that assurance that he can still take us ahead.
The NRM spokesperson, Rogers Mulindwa, confirmed the caucus decision.
So this kind of talk, the move, the motion she moved was unanimously supported by all members. And the climax of this was the singing of the slogan of no change and dancing and singing to the tune of Tubonga Nawe.
Mulindwa, however, says the outcome.
He has changed the constitution by force in order to remain on the ballot paper. He is using the office of president for corrupt purposes. Our own course of action is to get him out of office before 2021 because he's not supposed to be there. And certainly to make sure that he is not on any other ballot paper in this country.
Honorable, so the door is officially closed for others who actually maybe even dreamt of, going head-to-head with the president. Questions have been coming through and people are asking, is it that NRM of all these years have never spotted someone that they can mentor, that can hold the fort for the party and for the country as well? Is it that you don't have any other person who's good enough?
Definitely that is not the position. But you'll appreciate that party politics is based on organization and strategy. And for you to be able to continue offering leadership as a party, you need to make a good assessment of the position. You need to look at the strength of available opportunities and available options. And you also need to look at the opposing sides. What do they have to offer? So at the end of the day, it is always strategic to go with the best option available.
But as you talk about the best option available, one thing that Ms. Sarah did highlight is the fact that the internal democracy lacking within that bit of the NRM.
Yeah, I don't know what Madam Sarah is talking about, because this has been a subject of conversation at different levels. You had a conversation at SEC level. Now you're having a conversation at the caucus level, and it is going down to all levels of decision making. And when she says that it is top up, it should be bottom up, it's a question of alternative. Because one, what is leadership? The notion of leadership presupposes that as leaders, you also need to guide the people that you lead. There's nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, you can abdicate leadership. If leaders were waiting all the time then they would be led.
I think Ms. Sarah came from a point of leadership should not be imposed pretty much. It should come, decisions need to come from the people that you lead pretty much.
Actually, what I'm saying.
So are you telling me members of SEC and the NRM caucus are not part of those that are being...
What are the people underneath in the grassroots? What are they saying about this?
So you see, that's exactly what I was telling you, that it is a consultative process that can even be overturned by the people down.
Can it?
It can be. So it is a question of giving them an opportunity at the right time for them also to be part of that. And the arrangement is such that all leadership levels are going to be part of this process.
What are the chances? What are the chances of the NRM supporters in the grassroots supporting this?
When you hear that the NRM caucus has supported it doesn't mean that that is a finality. They are also recommending downwards. Just like SEC came up with a position and they've had to refer it, there is NEC, there is the Delegates Conference, and that is the supreme decision making. And once the Delegates Conference has given an objection, that is representative of the people, because it is the highest decision making organ of the party. That's why you have chairpersons, LC3s and all that. That is the lowest level, and that is the level of decision making.
But as we talk about the decision making, if we see that SEC took this decision, and then we've also seen the NRM take the same, NRM Caucus take the same decision. When it goes to NEC, what are the chances that it wouldn't be the same? Because a number of times, as people within society, we see what the leaders go with, and we take the vision of the leader and take it to be what we need to be going with, because they see far. So if we're saying that SEC and now NRM Caucus, the chances of NEC, it goes on to say, if the leaders are showing us the direction, what are the chances that the people will be able to say that is not the direction we should take?
And are you saying that is wrong?
That it goes to internal democracy.
No, because you see, there is this whole notion of believing that internal democracy must be there when that lack of consensus presupposes that internal democracy. But democracy is also there when you have consensus of a matter. Chances are, like there are so many issues where you can get a national consensus. Does that mean that there is no democracy? I think let's not mix consensus and divergence to mean democracy. Democracy can also apply in a situation where you are unanimously agreed of a position. That is
what
very
do you have
possible.
to say of that democracy and consensus?
Okay, if I may be clear to Honorable Sevaru, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were a part of the constitutional making process, representing youth from Central Region, if I recall well. If you go under the democratic principles in the state objectives and directives in the Constitution, the democratic principles are to the extent that all the people shall have access to leadership positions at all levels, and citizens are supposed to be empowered to participate in their governance at all levels. We had the so-called rebel MPs, who are NRM party members, who are members of the NRM Caucus, blocked from accessing Chankwanzi retreat. But also going by what the people witnessed in 2015, when the then Party Secretary General picked forms from the NRM Secretariat. Already there was commotion because there were orders that don't give him the forms. But the then chairman said, no, as a party member, this is an open process. He's supposed to pick forms. But we all know how that process was blocked, and he was stopped from contesting for presidency within his party. So I don't know what would have expected this time round. I think that was evidence that this post is a no-go area for anybody. Don't even think about it. But to me, what is more concerned is the attempt to preempt the court process. As far as the laws are concerned, the president is not eligible until that process is exhausted. But and it's not that the elections are next year. We still have 2 years. So why is NRM in a rush? Why are they not waiting for the decision of the Supreme Court on whether President Museveni can actually be a candidate?
Honorable, you can answer that very pertinent question.
Yeah,
why is NRM in a rush?
It is, but I think my sister, as a lawyer, should be in position to appreciate that an appeal. First of all, there was a ruling that clearly indicated that the president can stand, and it was appealed against.
Yes, that means it's at bay.
It was appealed against. But you see, what you do is that it does not stop the parties concerned to organize, because as we speak, the status is that he can stand until it is reversed. And unless you are suggesting to say that it has been overturned, it hasn't.
No.
And when it is overturned, then that's when you can behave in a manner that conforms to the position as is. But as of now, the legal position is that he can stand, and that is according to the ruling of the constitutional.
Ms. Director seems to say no to it, and I want to understand where the no comes in.
When a court ruling is contested, that ruling is at bay. It is at bay.
No.
That is the meaning of appeal.
No, that is not correct. Like, for instance, I've seen situations where members of parliament are withdrawn from parliament and someone else appeals. Those members remain enjoying their seats until another verdict, another decision is taken.
Yes, actually, he has answered it in his justification. Right. When a member of parliament loses a seat in a lower court and the member of parliament appeals, that ruling of court that made him lose a seat is at bay. That's why he stays in parliament. He has justified it.
No, that is...
That ruling is at bay. Otherwise, the member of parliament would come out. But to know that an appeal puts a judgment at bay, that's why the MPs continue.
Honorable Sebalu, with that knowledge now that has been brought to the front, are we saying that there's some people who are above the law, maybe? Are we above the law? Is NRM above the law?
I think the situation is very clear. The position as of now is that the age limit provision is not in our constitution. That is the position. Unless she's
Why are you in a rush?
Wait. Because she's misleading the viewers. What is the legal position now in terms of age limit? It is not part of the constitution unless otherwise stated.
The matter was contested.
If it's at bay at this point in time with the law, looking at one thing that she talks and also raises, and we did hear it from Kizza Besigye, talking about the fact that the use of the presidency, he mentioned it earlier, that the use of the power of the presidency to abuse a few things here and there, that perhaps the powers are being overstepped in places. Is that happening?
Definitely.
Do we see it?
No, the Kizza Besigye argument, I would be surprised if he were objective on any matter that concerns the candidate of President Museveni, because he has always been the man to beat, and to expect him to be objective
let's move away from
that would be expecting too much.
Let's move away from Mr. Kizza Besigye and just get into the internals of NRM. We have the 6 rebel MPs, quote unquote. Just because they don't agree with the resolutions that the party makes, then they're marked as rebel MPs. What do you have to say about that? The fact that there's no safe space for people who are opposing some, decisions to be taken up or to be respected, pretty much.
No, that is a different kettle of fish, because every organization has its own internal rules, procedures, and processes. And definitely discipline is a matter of importance in every organization.
Discipline because someone has stood up outrightly to say that they're against 1, 2, 3 things. Isn't it good for democracy to take up different opinions?
No, I think
is there a disciplinary process against these MPs?
There are clear procedures that you do. For instance,
is there a disciplinary process against these MPs?
If you have procedures, for instance, they are acting against the procedures laid out because they have opportunity using the right fora to express their disagreement.
For example?
Yeah,
is it putting a red hat? Is that against the procedures?
Definitely, I would find that a little disturbing because parties have their...
Is it documented somewhere?
No, it may not, but it is a question of compliance. It is a question of believing in what you believe in. It is a question of promoting your brand. If you have a brand, for instance, you are NTV and you've got your brand, and there's a staff of NTV, to be seen or to be understood, to be seen, to be promoting another brand, it may not be the best case scenario in terms of good, disciplined, and brand championing staff.
Ms. Sarah.
Yes, I would like to know from Honorable Sebalu, what are the disciplinary procedures within NRM? We know that these so-called rebel MPs went against the party decision and voted against the lifting of age limit. If the party found that as an offense to their principles and the constitution, did you take any disciplinary processes? or you are violating even the rules of natural justice, punishing these MPs without even hearing from them and according them a course of natural justice.
You see, disciplinary action is not an event, it is a process.
We are now more than
and I want you to appreciate that the process is on.
So, Honorable, when did the process start?
So
is it from just them?
The punishment?
No, I've not said that. I've said it is a process. And I want to leave it at that.
So is the process, is it what we're seeing from just last week, or there's more did it start earlier? When did the process start?
I think I've been very clear. It is a process. Once they started behaving in a manner that is injurious to the party, some form of process.
For example, blocking them from going to Chankwanzi?
Not necessarily.
So the process remains a bit unclear and unknown to everyone around,
and
apart from those within NRM.
When they want.
And I think, you see, we get double standards. And I want you to also be on the side of discipline. You know, discipline is very important. Even wherever it is, definitely some of these members, the way they've been managing and carrying out their activities, it should be of interest even to every one of us, because different parties apply different means of arraigning their members to behave in a manner that is conforms to the disciplinary standards of a given organization.
All right, Ms. Sarah Berete, the matter is actually at bay. We are in 2019. We are all gearing up for 2021. It's not just NRM, but also the opposition is trying to put their house together. What will it mean by the time we get to 2020 and a few months into 2021 and this matter is still at bay? What next?
What I saw from last year, the Supreme Court actually fast-tracked the hearing of legitimity. They put all their normal business at bay, had the case, and said judgment will be on notice very soon. Normally it takes 3 months. They finished hearing the case in December. So, December or January, I think they had the case in January. The 3 months are not even lapsed.
Right.
Normally it takes 3 to 6 months for court to issue a judgment. They finished the hearing of age limit appeal in January. We are in mid-March. Really? If it was 2020, the NRM would say, look, the court has delayed. We cannot keep waiting. We have an election to go. But we are in 2019, and early 2019 at that.
Right.
But I think my sister is simply not being objective in analyzing this matter, because the position, legal position as is of now, does not in any way stop any party or any actor to engage the process. And definitely politics is a matter of strategy. You need to plan, and victory comes to those that plan for it. So you can't blame NRM for being organized, for planning ahead of time, for structuring its processes, because we have to go down to the lowest level. So we need to begin early, widen the space of consultation, and engage all the different levels of decision making. And to blame anyone for being organized is really being selfish.
So away from just blaming anyone for being organized, if you look at the events in 2017, a few things were fast-tracked, a few things are delayed here and there. As of now, page 6 of the Daily Monitor today says the Supreme Court fails to meet the deadline for the verdict on the age limit case. So in places we see a few things are fast-tracked, a few things are delayed. When does the law choose to go a little faster and choose to slow down?
I think that question...
For court legally to say it has delayed the judgment, it has to be more than 6 months. Yeah. Because minimum, it takes a judge 2 months to write a judgment at minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we're seeing it's slowing down as of now, as you've even mentioned, because it should have been given on Saturday, this weekend, but things are slowing down. In his case, he says that everything is as per as it should be. You do not agree that everything is as it should be.
They said they will give ruling on notice?
On Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yes, is when it was supposed to happen, but it did not.
But on the same day is when the NEC
Yes.
Made a resolution. But SEC had already made a resolution.
Yes, the NRM Caucus had made its resolution.
If I may move away from that.
Thing that we need to
if I want to move away from that, because once there is an appeal, the judgment is at bay. That is clear and has been demonstrated. Right. That's why MPs remain in Parliament. That nobody can enforce that judgment until the Superior Court has ruled. So I don't want to delay on legalities. I think the question here is, do we have the doctrine of separation of powers functional in this country?
Okay.
Looking at the process of how, remember we have had a pending constitutional review process.
Right.
And the Constitution provides, by the way, that it should be reviewed every 10 years. So we had a review, a major review in 2005, where term limits were lifted. In 2015, we were supposed to have a review. And from the civil society perspective, we are fronting the free and the compact for free and fair elections, the electoral reforms. The government, the executive then put them at bay, said there is no time. We shall look at this in the new parliament. When the new parliament came, we were still engaging. And then piecemeal, the bills to amend the constitution started coming up. First was an attempt to lift the age limit for the judges. Then the age limit bill finally became what it should have been, because the other one was a window dressing. It became clear in the Magazine bill. And the arguments have been coming up, and I hope Chankwanzu will not really take Ugandans back into that debate of age limits. To say that now people are too young to run the country. We all know that the justification of the Magazine bill was that age limits are discriminatory, but we know the rumors going around. Right. But maybe I don't know what's going on in Chankwanzi. But to me, the concern is tickling with the Constitution.
Okay.
To suit individuals.
All right.
That ceases to be the supreme land of the
As you come to a close, Honorable, just let us in on this one, and I need a yes or a no, and also from you, Ms. Sarah Brete. The NRM also is pushing to extend the tenure from 5 years to 7 years. Are we saying that NRM has a strategy? You mentioned it as a strategy. Do they have a strategy to rule the country indefinitely? Is that the strategy? Yes or no?
No,
yes or no?
I can't answer it that would be simplistic. I want to qualify my answer.
Go ahead and qualify. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, the whole thing is NRM wants to offer leadership to this country as long as the people are satisfied with their performance on the basis of regular, free and fair elections. So it is a subject of renewed mandate from the people.
Free and fair
my
elections.
final thing about the issue, because there is an insinuation that came out of our discussion, which I don't really want to own up. We should not impute bad motives on the side of the court.
Fair enough. Ms. Sarah Brete.
Yes, if you look at...
Yes is your answer.
It's difficult to give a yes answer, but we all know the negotiations, the inside of the negotiations going in Chankwanzi. Actually, the MP's concern is not whether Museveni can be a sole candidate or not, because I think that was resolved really by the whole push and process that went on through the lifting of age limit. But the negotiations say, we lifted age limit for you. People are annoyed with us. Can you ring fence seats also for us? You see, that's where the whole concept of internal democracy will finally die. And if we are to entrench the multi-party system in this country, and as people working on governance, we must be concerned about internal democracy processes in all political parties.
But I think we need something clear. One of the issues to be debated is how to manage internal electoral processes, primaries. So the idea of ring fencing the MPs does not come out, because the procedure is already agreed, aligning, which is cost effective and easy to manage. So
is it democratic though? That's another question. And of course,
her speculation does not then arise. I want to clear and allay her fears.
So the conversation about democracy as we get to the road to as we continue to prepare for 2021, you can keep your comments and share them with us on our social media platforms. That's Facebook and on Twitter, NTV Uganda. Morning at NTV continues. Use the hashtag Morning at NTV. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Are you in Kampala, East, West, Central, or the northern parts of Uganda? Daily Monitor has got you covered every weekday with revamped regional news coverage. Grab yourself a copy and know what's happening in your area.